Hi guys, welcome to my channel, The Golden Cruiser. I'm Cindy, and today we're going to be talking about things cruise passengers regret spending money on. Now, money traps or rip-offs, many of us have been there while cruising. So let's take a look at some of these money-wasting things passengers regret spending their money on. Number one is buying things on board that you later regret. Things like jewelry, the fine jewelry they sell on board, a lot of the watches. People have later found out they could have got these same items for a lot less somewhere else on land other than purchasing them on the ship. They put all these watches out for you to buy. You think you're getting a fantastic deal because they're duty-free, tax-free, when actually the truth is you can probably get this same item a lot cheaper. So Google that item, see how much it really does cost somewhere else, and see if you're getting a good deal. The same goes for the designer bags they have on the ships. A lot of time you're thinking you're getting a fantastic deal on that bag when in truth you aren't. Look that up, see how much that is, and you probably could get a better deal. Don't get all wrapped up in all those cruise ship sales they have when in the long run it's actually costing you more money. Another thing people regret is purchasing art at the art auction. Now, a lot of times they think they're getting a fantastic deal. They think they're getting a piece of art that the value is going to go up and later they can sell it, make a big profit, when in the truth is that this isn't true. Look online, look for these pictures you're buying, these paintings, and you'll see how much they cost. And you'll see most of the time you're not getting a good deal on this art. So just be careful about that. A lot of other things people regret buying is they forgot to bring something from home, say suntan lotion or a face cream or something, and then you have to go on board and purchase that product. Sometimes, like a face cream that maybe you paid, I don't know, $20 for, you're going to pay $60 on the cruise ship. Or I heard where someone needed like a lip balm, and they ended up paying $45 in the makeup department because it's the only lip balm that was on the cruise ship. So just try to remember, make a list of things you need to bring and then check that off as you're packing so that you don't have to buy these items on the cruise ship because they are so expensive. I know, I've been there. I forgot, actually I got some things taken away from me at the airport, my face creams and such, and so I had to go on board and buy these products, and they were very expensive. And they weren't even products I really wanted, but I had to do that. So just make sure that bring your products from home. Make sure you have them. I know a lot of times it's easy to forget. I've done that before. The next item is paying for the thermal spa pass. Now you can buy like a weekly pass that gives you access to go into the thermal spa daily on the cruise ship, or as much as you want. But most people regret this because they said they went one time and never went back again. So they wish they would have bought a day pass instead of the whole pass for the whole cruise. So just beware of that. If you're not going to use it very often or only once, don't buy the whole week's package. You'll waste your money on it. The next thing people say they regret wasting money on, there's tourist trap restaurants in certain ports. As soon as you get off the ship, you'll probably see the billboards on the street for restaurants with pictures of the food that looks so great and everything and telling you to come on in. They're trying to get you in. And then you go in and your meal looked nothing like that picture and you paid so much money for it and it didn't taste good. So just be careful about that. Maybe do a little bit of research before you get to that port and see which restaurants are actually good to eat at. Look at the reviews and everything before you get there, and don't just go into a restaurant because the picture looks good. So people regret that they did that and lost money on food that they didn't like at all. Another thing is when you're in ports, people regret not taking small bills. Now you want to have some small bills, especially if you're going to like Mexico. You don't have to transfer your money into pesos or anything. You can use US money. Better to do that in some places than use debit or credit cards in foreign countries because you don't know actually what it's getting converted to and you could get ripped off like that. So it's better to take small bills. A lot of people said they had to get lockers to put things in and they needed those small bills in these ports. I know even when we were in Mexico once to use a restroom there, you had to put like $1 to be able to use it. So take small bills when you're in port. Don't just take large bills and don't take just expect to use credit cards and things when you're out of the country. Get the small bills. Future cruises. Now you know how on the cruise ships they always have the future cruises and they say you can get a really good deal on these, and I've often wanted to look into this but I never have. Well, you can get a good deal, but you just want to make sure that the cruises are refundable, and some of them give you like a certain period to sail. So they might say you have to sail within 2 years. And then if for some reason you haven't booked this, you will lose your money if it's not refundable. So just check into that. Make sure you're getting refundable before you book, and make sure it's not a certain time period, like maybe you have to sail within a year or you lose your money. So just check all the details before you book into that. A lot of people regret that because they said they never went for one reason or another and they lost their money on that. Another thing people regret is booking what looked like a cheap cruise. So you may see a cruise and think, wow, that's a really good price. But then you start adding on all these items. Oh, I need the drink package. I want specialty dining. I want to go to the spa, and etc. It adds up and up and up. And by the time you get your final bill, you could have maybe got another cruise that all these things were included in for a lot less price. Like Norwegian. You can get the Norwegian more, and then that includes everything with it. Well, that might look like a higher price right now compared to your cheap cruise price, but when you add all those items in there, you might end up with a lot more. Or you might get a cruise that has better package deals on it, like Princess Cruise has a pretty good package deal where it wraps those all in one. So don't look at the bottom line of that cruise, just the cruise alone, if you're going to be adding other items. If you're not going to be adding anything else to it, then go for that cheaper cruise. But if you're going to be doing all these add-ons, cheaper to look around at all the cruise lines and see which actually will end up the better deal for you so you don't have regrets. Another mistake people made was not putting their phones on airplane mode when they got on the ship. Now, this could cost you thousands of dollars if you don't put your phone on airplane mode, and then if you're sending a text or something like that, you could get back and your phone bill could be up to $1,500 for not putting it on airplane mode. So make sure as soon as you get on that cruise ship to put your phone on airplane mode. The other item we already basically went over was buying toiletries on board. And this is people that needed to purchase toiletries like medicines, like they forgot Tylenol, ibuprofen, something like that. And they had to go on board and buy it. I know one time I went to buy Pepto-Bismol on board, and it cost $20 for 6 Pepto-Bismol chew pills. So just be careful. Take everything you need with you. Like I said, make a list, check it off, and pack those items with you. You'll save so much money. Another item is over tipping or double tipping. Now, gratuities are usually included when you book your cruise. You either pay them beforehand, which is what I always do because it's a lot easier, or you have to pay them at the end of the cruise. They'll be added on to your final bill. But did you know that when you get a drink at the bar or specialty dining or room service, if you look at your bill, the gratuity has already been taken out? Now, when I first started cruising, I didn't realize this, and I was tipping the bartender, and then I started looking at the receipt and thought, wow, I'm double tipping. They've already got their tip taken out. So just be careful of that. Tips are already included. Look at your receipt, and it'll tell you what tip has been added wherever you're at. Now, a lot of people still want to tip their bartender another dollar or two if they're, go to that bartender a lot or they're doing a really good job. But just know they have already been tipped. I used to do this at room service. When they'd come, I'd give them a tip, and then I realized I'm double tipping. The tip is already taken out. So just check your receipt about that. Also, I guess they do that in the spa too. I have never used the spa service, but I have heard that they already take out their tips in the spa. So check that before you're tipping all the people you went to in the spa, because they're already getting their tip taken out. So just be careful of that. Cruise loyalty mistakes. Now, some people regret just sticking to one cruise line the whole time. Most of the people do this because they either really, really love that cruise line, but it also makes their status climb up, like diamond, platinum. They'll get the higher level, and then they'll get some free perks with that. So they stick with that cruise line for that. But because you do that, you might lose out on some other great deals on other ships that have better pricing, or, it's a better experience. I like to try different ships that I've never been on, especially if I'm going to the same place. Like I've been to Alaska now on a Princess cruise, a Carnival cruise, and now I'm going on a Royal Caribbean cruise. I like to try the different ships and not just go on the same ship every year. I like to try different ships. So a lot of people regret not doing that, trying new ships, seeing different ports maybe, and then maybe paying less money than in the long run than sticking with one cruise line. So just check into that and see if it's something you might actually like. Fun money losing opportunities. Now, some guests do regret spending money on board, like for things like bingo. Now, bingo on board is a big thing. People love to go play bingo, but it's not cheap on a cruise. It's pretty expensive to buy these bingo cards, and people regret that they wasted their money on that, sitting there playing it. A lot of people said it wasn't that fun. And, you have one person winning in each category, and you've spent all this money, and people regret that. Now, I know people love to play bingo. We've played it a couple times, but it does cost a lot of money to play it. I'm not sure it's worth it, but if it's something you love to do and you want to spend your money on it, then go ahead and do that. Another thing people regret is the casino. Now, a lot of people play in the casino because the more and more you play, you can start getting free perks. Things like free drinks, free meals, even free cruises. But these people that try to get these free cruises actually end up spending more money trying to get that free cruise than they could have purchasing a free cruise. It's thousands and thousands of dollars. They're gambling on these cruise ships, trying to get up there to get a free cruise cabin. So just beware of that. A lot of people regret it. They said they wasted their money, wasted their time. They had fun playing, but they had to keep playing and playing and playing to get to this high level to get a free cruise, when they could have just paid less money and booked the cruise themselves. So just be careful of that. Check into that. And a lot of them weren't winning that much money to make it worth it. So just be careful on that. A lot of people regretted that. Port scam mistakes. Now, one thing that happens a lot in foreign ports is the switcheroo. So you may be buying an item. I guess right now what's big in the Bahamas, there's certain face creams that people are wanting to buy. And so they're buying these face creams. They get back to their cabin, the ship's leaving. They go to open it up and look at it, and they have an empty jar. So make sure when you're at a port, a tourist port, stand there and watch them wrap your item that you're purchasing. Don't let them take it into the back room. Don't let them say, oh, I'm going to go wrap it back here. I'll be right back. Either stand there and watch them or open it up before you walk away. This has happened with someone else with a really expensive bag they purchased, a purse, and then when they got back to their cabin and opened it, it was not that purse. It was a cheap little bag and they got ripped off. So just make sure, watch them wrap your items. If they're saying they're going to go in the back room, then just open it up before you leave. Make sure it's your item. Open that jar of cream and make sure there's something in it, because a lot of times there's not. So just be careful in ports. There's a lot of scams in ports. Picture taking scams in port. Now, there may be someone standing there in a costume wherever you're at, maybe in Mexico, and they have a headdress or something on. They say, come on over and take a picture. And then you take a picture and then they tell you how much that's going to be. And they're saying, you know, you've got to pay me, and you're not expecting to pay them, and they're making a big scene and everything. So just be careful of things like that. There's scams all the time in ports. There's scams on taxi cabs. Be careful of that. But there are some items that people regretted wasting their money on. Have you ever done these things? I know one item I wasted mine on was, you know, the inch of gold that you get on the cruise ships. They put that out on every cruise, inch of gold, and then it's not really gold, it's gold plated or silver plated. Well, I ended up buying a necklace for someone that was watching our dog while we were on the cruise, and I thought this would be a really nice gift to bring back. And it was a longer one because it was for a man. It was a chain. It cost me about $60-some once I got a long chain like I wanted. Well, he had the chain for less than a week, and the clasp broke off of it. Well, when something breaks on your jewelry, you have to mail it in, then they'll fix it and send it back to you. And so we went and just got another clasp and put that on, but there's been problems with the necklace ever since. And I've heard this from several people. They have sent their jewelry back 3 and 4 or 5 times to have something fixed on it. So just be careful of that inch of gold stuff. You think you're getting a great deal. It ends up being more money than you thought. I didn't realize that necklace was coming out over $60 for the chain only, or I probably would have thought twice about that. But be careful with that. That's another thing they get you, putting that inch of gold out there. So just be careful of these items that you buy. Is there anything else you guys have bought that you regretted buying, or a ripoff that happened to you in the port? Let me know in the comments below. And I want to thank you all for stopping by today. If you like my video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel to help me grow. I hope you have a really great day, and I hope to see you all real soon on my channel, The Golden Cruiser. Bye for now.